Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International West Qualifiers. In round number 1 we have mTw versus Virtus.pro. That's hard to say. I am Nebula from DotaCommentaries.com, and joining me alongside it is going to be...
Luminous, apparently.
What?
You just said you are Nebula.
Really? Well, I am Luminous too now. It is currently 6...
I'll be Lumi. Hold on. Oh, we see mTw. No, I was kidding. All right, so yeah, Virtus.pro taking on mTw. This is the first game of the West Qualifier. We're going to be casting all of them as they happen in Dota Commentaries, and as well as I believe the East Qualifiers. LD is currently casting right now.
Yes, if you are
along with
a fan of Chinese, Pinoy, Southern East Asian teams, the East Qualifier is currently going on, and it will be going to continue to go on for the remainder of the week. So, and of course, Nebula and I will be casting, or Luminous and I will be casting the West Qualifiers for the rest of the week as well, so you can check everything out on DotaCommentaries.com. But for now, it's mTw versus Virtus.pro, and this is the best of 3 series, game number 1 between these two top European teams. mTw is the favorite for winning the entire qualifier for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, this is kind of unfortunate for Virtus.pro to have to go up against mTw this early, because I feel like the favorites are mTw, Mouse, and then Virtus.pro. Probably in that order would be my guess. But mTw, I'm honestly a little shocked they didn't get invited to the International in the first place. I thought for sure they were going to get an invite. I felt like they've been a top 3 European team for the better part of a couple months now. So that said, I mean, I have faith that if you're going to get to play at the International, like, you should be able to win the qualifier, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean, if you can't win the qualifier, you probably don't deserve to be there. So if they actually warrant that, then they will win this. So now Virtus.pro has gone ahead and given away the Invoker here in the first pick phase in order to pick up Leshrac. We see this oftentimes. The second pick actually has a 56% win rate now in Dota 2 from all of the pro games that our wonderful Wicked, our statistician, has kept for us, and hopefully that website, you know.
Has it actually gone up from 55 to 56%?
Yes, it's almost a 56%. I think it's a 55.8 or something like that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have been talking about how Dire has the advantage in the map, but I mean, actually, statistically, it's kind of even. It's like 49 to 51% favoring Dire a little bit, or perhaps even less than that.
No, I think it's like 49.8 to 50.2.
Okay,
it's like nothing.
All right. But second pick, though, they have a significant amount of percentage. Yes. But, I mean, I don't think that's too important to point out right now as the picks are coming out. Enigma and Windrunner is the second pick for mTw. mTw generally runs for an early, aggressive kind of lineup. Seems like Virtus.pro is doing that exact thing, and mTw is just getting good laning here overall. Very good attack animation, and fairly strong, decent mid game. And it seems like, you know what, Virtus.pro, you have the early game, we'll try to win the mid. Kind of not mTw's usual playstyle.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually to see mTw banning the Queen of Pain. Not a hero you see banned a whole lot, though. Her popularity has definitely increased in recent months. I would say the Southeast Asian teams play her a lot more, as well as the Chinese teams than the European teams do. So it's kind of interesting to see Synderen banning her. We also see a Darkseer and a Broodmother ban, of course, two annoying heroes to deal with. And having second pick, it means that you have to ban Lycan, because pretty much every team does not want to face a Lycan. He just creates so many problems. He farms way too fast. He doesn't actually need a bunch of items, but he can get them. He's just such a beast to deal with.
What is your ramp for the Lycan?
Yeah,
2 minute Vlad's.
Yeah, I think it's Vlad's at 2 minutes, and then BKB at 5, and then you have like an Assault Curse by 9. I think is about what it's at.
Game over at 12.
Yeah, and then hard at about 12 minutes, and then game's over. Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't. That's
it's a ridiculous hero. Yeah. So we also see a Furion and a Chin ban. Now that does. Of course, as we mentioned, the mTw did go ahead and grab Invoker first. They did give away the Leshrac and the Enchantress to do so a lot of early game pushing presence. And we get a Beastmaster picked up from Virtus.pro third here. So the Inner Beast Aura does create, obviously, a decent situation as you get summons, such as with Enchantress's conversions, rather. And that Beastmaster attack speed Aura really increases your damage output quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yes, and then we're going to have Enigma and Winner. As you mentioned, strong laners. We're going to see a couple boring carries being banned as Anti-Mage and Syllabary both get taken out here.
Now, going back to the Beastmaster real fast, what we've seen currently from a lot of teams, when they run the Beastmasters, they put it on the long lane, especially on the Dire. What they do is get a Soul Ring on the Beastmaster and start using axes on the Ancient Camps, and then get a lot of pull going on. And because of he's needing to use his access range camp, he's gonna get the Hawk first for a little bit more sight. So don't be surprised if you don't see the aura until much later. I guess until the push gets a little bit more established. But what the I guess pulling with the Ancient will do is once you hit level 5 perhaps off the lane, you will just shoot up to level 8 or 7. Because you kill the Ancient so quickly. Now most spells don't go through the Ancient because they're magically immune, but the wild axes are both mixed damage, which is both physical and magical, and then a part of it will hit through the Ancients, and you can farm quite a bit from that. So
yeah, essentially you're making up for the fact that you're on a hard lane solo and being denied a decent amount of XP.
Yep.
Other hard lane solos like Windrunner and Puck are very reliant upon their survivability. Well, Beastmaster just makes up for it by just circumventing the problem completely. It's really just a completely different way of attacking the game, which is it's awesome. I think it's pretty enjoyable. We have a Storm Spirit being banned here from mTw as the 5th ban here. So very interesting bans from Cinder in here as we see a Queen of Pain and Storm being banned.
Yeah, right now Radiant has so important heroes. They cannot be out of position. They cannot be picked off. We've seen a lot of times in the past, Windrunner is a hero that gets the Mecha and perhaps gets a Pipe as well, or a Hex if the game gets late enough. And if she gets initiated right from the get-go without able to use those items, you're losing quite a bit of gold. Of course, Storm Spirit could also easily cancel the Black Hole. Even if you get a 3 or 4 man channel, he could always zip behind you with relative ease. Invoker is a hero that you don't want to be out of position. So this is a kind of relatively safe ban. They're not really afraid of Storm per se, aside from that one point where he could just kind of ruin any kind of initiation that you have. So a very good ban from Cinder in here. Meanwhile, Shadow Demon's a ban. Very surprisingly, considering that we've seen Leshrac and Shadow Demon being a strong combination in the past, but perhaps a little bit more afraid of mTw picking that one up.
Yeah, that's the fact that mTw has the first pick coming out into the second pick phase is probably the reason that was banned. I feel like if Virtus Pro had the first pick coming out, they would gladly pick Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon Leshrac is just such a powerful combo. Shadow Demon creates a lot of problems, though. His team fight, like, his general disruption in team fight is so insanely powerful. It just does so much for you. And on top of that, he has huge amounts of single target damage, so he can really eliminate a hero almost immediately. Amplified damage creates insanely good ganking opportunities. It's just a very powerful hero. We see Earthshaker as a 4th pick here from mTw, so a couple big ultimates here as we've now got a Black Hole and a Echo Slam going on. And of course, Invoker, if he goes for Exhort, does a large amount of AoE damage with stuff like Meteor. So this could be a potentially wombo combo ultimate based strategy from mTw.
Yeah, not only that, this is a very smart pick. It gives you so much range, so if you see an incoming push, you fissure it, it sets up the power shot fairly nicely. It takes away fissure from the enemy team, which is a very reliable way to cancel that black hole. So overall, mTw, with this 4th pick, looking very, very strong on the laning and as well mid-game department. We see Lich as the 4th pick here. I like this pick quite a bit as well because there's not too many summons. Sure, there's some summon coming from the Enigma and perhaps with the Invoker. For the most part, you Chain Frost, if you could aim it nicely, it will be bouncing across heroes for quite a bit. I am worried about Virtus Pro in terms of late game carry because they don't have anything of that department right now. I guess Lesh could get sort of late, but I'm not too sure about that one. Tinker is the last pick here, and kind of odd to see Tinker so late, although lately he has been picked up as a 5th. And Martian Machine build is fairly strong. I think Shotsuka is their Tinker player, and overall he plays it fairly nicely. Fairly aggressively, too.
Yeah, and March build here would be pretty good. Obviously, it's quite strong against Enchantress, who wants to, enchant units and try and put down towers. Likewise, the Beastmaster has a couple, obviously the pig's quite strong. And since there is a clear, pushing aspect of Virtus Pro, I mean, they do, they do have a Void here. Now, they had literally no carry potential. Basically, Leshrac was the closest thing. Now, Leshrac is a pretty decent carry, but Void is a whole different ballgame. Void is, they have all eggs in the Void basket right now. If they can get a fat Void and they're going to have Lich there to kind of babysit him, which is going to make his lane infinitely easier, as Lich is one of the strongest laners in the game, it's going to be a big deal. Now, the problem here is that Laser really counteracts a lot of what Void wants to do. Oftentimes, you see Mask of Madness and just high output. If he doesn't catch Tinker in his ultimate, a Laser can eliminate his DPS through the whole duration of that. So, could be a bit problematic for Void here with that Tinker.
Also, Fissure is going to be fairly decent against Void, especially in the Chronosphere, as it does have that long reach. So, Void might have to get a BKB. Now, we've seen Void get BKB in the past many times before. But what BKB on Void is good for, unlike many other carry, it really extends his kind of invulnerability for a long time. Because generally when you jump in and you Chronosphere, that's like your BKB for at least a little bit. And then after your Chronosphere ends, you pop the actual BKB, and you basically get, for the first usage, 12 to 13 seconds of invulnerability, and that's pretty insane. But in this case that you talked about, the laser and the fissure, he might have the Chronosphere and BKB at the same time, which really cuts down, I guess, the allure to get that early BKB. But I think he still needs to get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many stuns on the Sentinel or the Radiant side that he really is going to need to. I mean, Enigma obviously with Malefice, we got probably Cold Stat from the Invoker, of course. Kebab's got the long range Fissure. So we're going to have Effing Mad playing that Enigma. We have Cinderin playing the Invoker here. We got Funzy's going to be playing that Windrunner. Now, we've seen Funzy's Windrunner in the past almost always play that hard lane, oftentimes getting, very, very neutered as far as levels and XP, and still coming back and executing very well. So I expect Funzy to have a pretty decent game here. He's really good at the hard lane solo up on that top lane with Windrunner. Kebab's going to be on the Earthshaker, and we're going to have Sashka, who looks like he's going to be solo bottom with Tinker, rounding out the lanes.
No, he's probably going to get the help from the Shaker and then Enigma defensive jungle.
Yes.
They really want to protect the Tinker. As we've seen in the past, or actually very commonly now, you put that squishy, normally solo mid hero on the bot lane. Shadow Fiend usually gets to go to bot lane as well if he's picked up. Meanwhile, on the other side here, we have Captain NS playing the Enchantress. On the top lane here, we have Scandal on the Leshrac. We have Kuroki going mid. Now we're going to see a Lich support most likely from Blow Your Blade to join him on the mid lane. And then we're going to see Santa on the bot lane. Not too surprising here. He's got just a Tango as well as a Clarity, perhaps saving for the quick bottle, perhaps saving for that quick soul ring. We have a ping from Blue on that high level camp, so we assume that this is going to be expecting a ancient pull, which we talked about it, as AC has increased battle points. Yes.
I have a bug. I can't actually click on any of the heroes, so you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna be able to follow too much as far as items go.
Oh, perhaps you could change the perspective, and that allows you to.
I was on free camera. Maybe I go to player perspective.
Yeah, keep changing it, even to the broadcasters, and eventually you'll be able to click around.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and mess with that just a little bit here.
Alright, so looking in the mid lane here, Invoker is going to be going for that Exort build. Now, having such long range stuns from the Shackle Shot as well as the Fissure, it really makes you to have relative ease to set up that Sunstrike. Unfortunately, he's going to be up against a dual lane, which there's quite a bit of harassing power, as well as there's a Lich involved. So that sacrifice ability is really going to shut down Cindera's level gain ability. And that means also that Cindera is going to be very easily ganked. If we have anyone roaming here, a Nova, a Jump from the Void, and a couple of right clicks, Cindera will be going down. If you see that Kebab is now coming to join this lane, Tinker would not need a help considering that he's going to be in a 1v1 situation. So Cindera is going to get the help of the Shaker to make sure that he is going to get relatively free farm and being relatively safe as well. Kuroki gets fissured up and he's going to right in the tower as he takes off a couple of shots. He might actually go down to Sunstrike. Kuroki dodges it, nicely done. But a really good early South Force by the Radiant squad.
Yeah, Kuroki was being pretty aggressive about his farm there, and Kebab went ahead and came around there to help him out with Cinder there. Now, I would like to point out the one problem Cinder's going to have here, if Earthshaker, kind of steals any of his XP as well as the Lich there, it's really going to keep Invoker's levels down. So we know Invoker needs an insane amount of levels to really get rolling. He's one of the most level-dependent heroes in all of Dota. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we actually see a First Blood as Funzy's Windrunner does go down to an NS gang out of the jungle with that Enchantress. So right off the bat, Funzy getting a little bit of experience loss and death there. But again, we've seen this happen before with Funzy and still come back strong. So
you talked about before, Funzy, very, very strong player in terms of coming back from those early game deficit. Also, back to the Shaker on the mid lane. Shaker's one of the best roamer in the mid, as he will try to get those runes a little bit late to that regen rune. And, ooh, missed trap here, and that's kind of a waste of mana as Blow Your Brain just recover from all the damage. But as I talked about, Kebab is a very, very good roamer, and he will be going off the lane most likely. Perhaps helping up top after a while, perhaps staying in the mid. But I think Cinderin will get his level one way or another.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty early passive play here, which is to kind of be expected. I mean, we're in the international qualifier; it's kind of a big deal. Obviously, these teams want to go to the international, so I expect to see a little bit less aggressive play from these teams than you might otherwise see in the early going of the match. Now, as we get farther into the games and it starts to become a little more calm down and just normal Dota games, I expect a bit more aggression. But this isn't really surprising to me to see a decent amount of passive farming her early on.
Also, I feel like both lineup doesn't actually go aggressive till, I guess, 5-6 minutes in the game. Enchantress obviously set up that First Blood gank, but that's more or less just a gank. A little bit more Fissure, making Kuroki using that jump And perhaps he's actually out of mana at this point. No, he just got it back. Perhaps forcing 1 or 2 more jump and then going for the kill much later. But yeah, like I talked about, I don't think these roster actually go too aggressive till 5-6 minutes in the game when they pick up their level 6s. Obviously on the Void's part, he's not going to go aggressive till much later. And mTw, again, they're a mid-game lineup, so I think both teams, they just want to kind of, no harass for 15, and then we'll go for fighting later on.
Yeah, meanwhile on bottom, Tinker's actually already picked himself up a Soul Ring. Yep. He's rocking about 540 gold right now. Interesting choice to rush the Soul Ring. Many times you'll see Tinkers really be very passive about buying an item in hopes maybe they just get to BOTs before they have to do anything else, because BOTs are so important on Tinker. But he just goes ahead and gets the Soul Ring now, so you can kind of spam harass on Santa here. As Santa, of course, is doing the ancient stacking. As we see, he's got about 90 million golems here. As there's like literally nothing but granite golems have been spawning there. But yeah, he's just got boots and a ring of protection. Very interesting build here. Obviously, the boots allow him a bit more of that hard lane solo, his ability to get back from the Tinker. The problem is, Tinker's got March of the Machines and rockets, so it doesn't actually do anything. He's just spamming rockets as he needs to. Last Strike, meanwhile, misses a stun here on Funzy. Funzy's going to be able to get away, and Chancer's coming around here, continuing to just farm in the jungle. Looks like they wanted to go for a gang on the middle here on Cinderin.
They were chasing Windrunner away, and Windrunner was being ever so elusive. Yeah, that boots and the Ring of Protection turned into a Tranquil Boots, which is not too surprising considering that we know Beastmaster will be going to Soul Ring later on. So the Soul Ring Tranquil Boots combination quite frequently seen on the heroes that really need that burst mana, and of course Beastmaster will definitely need it to clear away that 5,000 golem. As well, it's probably going to turn that the rest of the component into a very late game Vlads when they're actually pushing. So well planned out in terms of item set by our Beastmaster player, and you can see that he's using the board to pull as well, not losing any EXP in lane, as well as getting that pull off. Another set of Ancient Golem, as yeah, it's something that you can leave down with the Axis and no big deal.
It's a small army of golems right now. I actually want to mention in middle, Cinderin hit a really nice Sunstrike on Kuroki, but Kabop was actually a little bit out of position. He wasn't expecting it to land, and he was unable to get up there for the Fisher. That would have killed Kuroki. I think that Sunstrike got him down to about 80 HP maybe, but Fisher was just not there. He tried to walk up there after that, but at that point it was too late, and Kuroki was able to get away and regen up, as he does have himself that Ring of Health, which is so important on a Void in lane. Obviously, he doesn't have any regen skills. He's already used all his items, so he's basically just on the ring camp now.
Meanwhile, I'm going to check a goal a little bit real fast. As you see, a 500 goal lead despite the first blood being taken by the Dire Squad, and that's kind of what you expect. We have 3 600 range farmers on the Radiant side, great last hitters for the most part, right? And then because of that, they're actually leading a lot in terms of farming. Enchantress is getting some farm in the jungle, but you can see that she's trying to set up ganks here and there. There is a illusion rune. I think she could just take that, pop that smoke, and go for a gank. We are approaching nighttime. The wards have all went down because they only last for 6 minutes. And here comes the biggest backstab of all time. Will Funzy be able to get out of this? There's the win run, but there's also Enchant and a net. Now, she might be in a little bit of trouble. Funzy, the spider sense are tingling. She says something, but I think that will be not enough. There's going to be Enchant and a net, and Scandal's all on top of him. Tower is focusing on Scandal, but I don't think that will be enough. Another kill going in the favor of the Dire Squad, as we see Scandal one hit away from death. But regardless, they do get the Windrunner kill, and they didn't lose anything in return.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt there from Cinder and dropping a Suntrap up top in hopes that maybe he'd be able to pick off the Leshrac, and it actually did a decent amount of damage. He got close. I think it might have got split a little bit, as on bottom we see Tinker getting a kill on the back of March of the Machines and a rocket there on the Beastmaster. Of course, Effing Mag coming out of the jungle there to get himself a little bit of gang time as well. So we're up to 17, almost 1,800 gold now on Saskia, and as pretty much anybody who's played a single game of Tinker will know, the minute you get BOTs, the game completely changes for you. You go from being a Zeus kind of nuker in lane to just being a global Furion with a nuke. It's pretty insane. So he's definitely hoping that he can get to that 2,200 before he dies.
And getting to that early 22 or 2,500, if you count the boost of speed into that recipe, it's actually very important against a hero like Kuroki, who has to stay in lane for about a million year. So basically, all he had to do, as we see at Fissure Sunstrike, we talked about the early game, we talked about the long range initiation from mTw, and that's just a small glimpse of that. We're going to see a lot more of that throughout the game. But yeah, once the Tinker finishes the BOT, he can, in theory, go into Voice Lane and harass him to no end. Now, some carrier like Anti-Mage, once they finish the battle for you, you can duck in the jungle and start doing that. And Void will be able to do that eventually as well, but not till much later. He's only got Shreds and a Ring of Health right now. And if Tinker finished that BOT, he could just completely shut down Kuroki, and he could follow him all over the map.
Yeah, I actually forgot that they changed the scroll from 2200 to 2K. I was just referring to the actual scroll itself, but yeah, it's 2500 for the whole item. But once he gets to 2K, I fully expect him to just buy the scroll, and indeed he has gone ahead and bought the recipe before he actually buys the boots. Is that 2000 is obviously the most important part here. We have an invisibility room being picked up on bottom by Blurred Brain, so it looks like Lich probably wants to come around middle here and try and get Synderen. There is a level 6 on the Void, so he does have a Chronosphere if they want to go for this. This could be problematic for Synderen. I think he had vision of that bottom room, but oh no, actually he did not. So this could be rough for him. He's walking, and Kuroki's gonna go ahead and oh no, Void. There's a bit of miscoordination there as Kuroki walked up there to try and drop himself a Chronosphere. So the Lich went, and Synderen was just back a little bit too fast there, and ended up wasting that pretty prime opportunity to gang the Invoker in middle.
As we see a little bit engagement on the top lane here, Shaker in position, Sunstrike on top, Shackle Shot does hit. Wow. And that's a lot of new, and especially Fucky Man in a little bit of trouble. He is going to be going down, unfortunately. And you can see Scando doing a lot of right-click Kebab in a little bit of trouble. He is going to be going down. Pulse Nova, such early level as we see the Eidolon doing a little bit blocking. The Lightning and the Nova getting a 3-number kill. We have Scando. 14 HP will be fine. The question is, will the Sunstrike be coming in? He does have Tango, but he has to journey all the way back, and you bet Synderen, by the way, will be going at it. Meanwhile, Kuroki in the mid lane jumping in to go for the kill. Earlier you were saying that the Lich and Kuroki might be going for the kill. Perhaps they thought about it, but eventually did not go for it. Synderen does have the Bracer by then, so he was actually very tanky in terms of HP. Perhaps they saw that, I was like, you know what, not going to get the kill. But meanwhile on the bot lane here, Santa getting in position, the board being summoned, and he is going to drop out the roar. No laser for many mischance so far, and we have one person coming in. Immediately Shasuka is going to TP out. He does have the Butcher Travel and the level rearm, so that actually didn't even waste any of his time. He just went back to get a little bit of mana. He's going to come right back and nuke the hell out of Beastmaster. No, he's going to go in the mid lane here. Massive nuke coming on Kuroki. Kuroki jumps out. Again, no time wasted for Shasuka. He's going to port back, and then now go back to the bot lane, farm a little bit more. Having an early soul ring like this will basically allow him to do wherever he wants. And again, he's going to top lane. He's leaving lane. A lot of times when we see Tinker go for the Boots Travel, it's like, oh, BOT done, let's farm for 20 more minutes. But Shasuka's like, you know what, we're going to harass all over the map and make sure that no one gets farmed. And that's actually really good.
Yeah, and of course that soul ring basically makes every single rearm just cost 150 HP, which is so much cheaper than the 150 mana.
Yep.
And the infinite ability to soul ring, you just come in there, you drop a bunch of marches, you fire a bunch of rockets, you harass both one or two heroes in lane, and then TP right back, and you can really just dominate the entire laning phase. We're only looking at just now 11 minutes. He's already got BOTs, he's got the soul ring, and this Void's farm is now about to just slow down so much. It looks like NS caught in a poor position here, though. He's just going to drop the Wisp, but it looks like, nope, a stun from Effing Mad comes in there. Synderen does it and picking up that kill on the back of a Sunstrike. Well played there. And Invoker getting those all-important kills now as NS goes down.
Yeah, right now Radiant's doing such a good job in terms of rotation. Enchantress went into the offensive jungle for a little bit of warding, a little bit of jungling, and I think that might have been ultimately the wrong choice, as, I mean, Synderen, his hero, it's a +1 anywhere, and Effing Mad's kind of owning his jungle. He's always, or almost up to that mech after Soul Ring. Radiant's just farming so damn well. They're down by 2 kills, but still up by that 500 gold. Funzy now on the bot lane to switch it off a little bit, and I think that's ultimately a very good decision, because Tinker will actually out-harass Leshrac with relative ease, because he's firing lasers or rockets at you every 2 seconds. And I don't think any hero right now could actually withstand that kind of damage coming their way.
Yeah, with the BOTs on Tinker and Invoker going for an Exhort build, they just have so much global presence almost immediately. The counter gang potential and the gang potential on mTw is just so high right now. I think their picks, they've really paid off here. Getting those quick BOTs on Tinker was just so important. Synderen's up to just now level 7, so he's actually a little behind as far as XP goes, but of course being in lane with a Lich will do that to you. Leshrac, meanwhile, is level 10, so that I think he got a double kill plus an assist up on the top, so those 3 kills really paying dividends. It looks like he's going to go ahead and push this tower down. Is going to get it on the back of that diabolic. He's just maxed. As you mentioned, he has that one quick point of Pulse Nova. That's not something you see very often on Leshrac, but he's up to go for it. He did pay off dividends earlier.
Yeah, meanwhile on the bot lane here, we did see Synderen going down. He was joining a fight. Here comes Effing Mad. They're going to try to go on Santa here. Effing Mad walking into that position. That Wildkin slowing down. We have a teleportation coming in. That is Leshrac. He eats a arrow to the face, losing HP very rapidly, will be going down behind right now. Santa in a little bit of trouble as well as NS. NS eats a rocket, will be going down. Santa walks back with relatively low HP. That is the power of Tinker, the range, the damage, and the burst coming so early. Now he's going to go back and perhaps defending up on top. Of course, reducing muscling that tower down, and that's going to be the first tower of the West qualifiers to the Virtus Pro squad. Kuroki, though, still free farming the mid lane. mTw choosing to pay a little bit more attention to the rest of the four. And Kuroki, I mean, he's eating a couple of rockets here and there, but for the most part, he's free farming. He's up to 1,700 gold, and that's getting dangerous because we are approaching that battlefield territory.
Yeah, he's already got himself some treads. Of course, has that ring of health, and you can't let a Void free farm too much. I mean, obviously, the hero has ridiculous carry potential if given enough time. And mTw, while they did manage to get that bottom tier 1 tower, so they have gone ahead and traded a tower here, you know, while they are doing pretty well as far as team rotations and counter gangs and whatnot, they're still actually behind by 1 kill, and Kuroki's kind of free farming it up, which is not something you ever want to see. So, you know, mTw is going to need to pay a little bit more attention to the Void in the coming minutes here, which I expect them to do. Is we do have a Kebab hanging out here as well as a Fungi. It looks like, yeah, we're going to have probably a rotation to try and catch him this time.
Yeah, right now we see Shaska going for that Force Staff, and with the Force Staff he plays so damn aggressively. Sometimes more aggressive than I really like him to see him play, because he's a squishy hero, Tinker is, and he's just Force Staffing forward to get those rockets off. And you do know that Tinker will be blowing people up, whether his enemy or himself, with that Force Staff. Meanwhile, mTw pushing that mid lane here, Fissure or Shaker staying back just to make sure that the Kuroki don't jump in and get everyone. Here comes Tinker. That's 4 on the mid lane trying to get the push off, and they're just muscling across this ramp, and there's really nothing that the Virtus Pro team could do. They really need Lich's Chain Frost. He is level 7 at this point, but there's just so many heroes and so many creeps on the other way. Sunstrike coming in, they're harassing Kuroki. You talked about it. They need to do something against Kuroki, and this is exactly it. Push this lane, make sure he gets no farm. Moving on the top lane here, we have a little bit more pushing attempt from the Radiant or from the Dire squad as well. Scaring Women out of lane, but not accomplishing too much.
Yeah, and you were talking about how Sasuke really hurts himself. Obviously, he's got that Soul Ring and the Force Staff, so not only is he pushing himself in, but every time he rearms, he's hurting himself to do so as well. So I expect to see a couple deaths from Tinker here in the coming minutes in these battles. But as you said, they got down that middle tier 1. They took, you know, got a bunch of harass on Kuroki. Of course, he does have himself that Claymore and another 800 gold, so it's not like they actually, you know, killed him or anything. And they've created a nice little pocket to farm here. We see a Shackle Shot trying to catch Scandal there, not quite working out. Scandal just goes ahead and backs up. He does have a Bite Booster and a Point Booster, and he's got another 1,200, just about 1,200 gold here, so he's pretty close to that Soul Booster, or rather, he has it. As he could break down those Arcane Boots, so we might see a quick Bloodstone from Leshrac here, and Leshrac is one of those heroes that if he gets enough farm, he can seriously carry in the late game. He just becomes a big tank throwing out massive amounts of AoE damage, so I feel like mTw are treading on thin ice here. You know, again, it looks like they're doing very well. And they have a lot of big ultimates that can definitely win them just about any battle. But there are some seriously powerful heroes on the Dire side that if they continue to farm at this rate, it's going to be pretty problematic for mTw.
Yeah, one of those powerful heroes, the Leshrac, is going to get online fairly soon. He's 600 gold away from that Bloodstone. Probably one of the earlier Bloodstone we have ever seen. mTw, meanwhile, claims yet another tier 1 tower, adding to their gold lead. They're sitting about 3k right now, will be going up to 4k. But what is your opinion on Cinderen's choice to actually push with his team? He's only level 8 at this point. He's been pushing with his team for the past 5 minutes or so. That's delaying his double Force Spirit. They are getting a lot of towers in return, and they're getting a lot of gold, and this perhaps is the best way to beat such a late-oriented lineup from the Dire squad, but it also really shuts down their mid-game superiority.
Yeah, but I think it's a nice identification of the situation they're in. Like, they're against a Void, and they're against a couple of heroes that aren't really going to be able to defend against them. I mean, Void's he's got a nice ultimate, and actually we're going to see probably an initiation here. Santa goes ahead and rolls up there. We're going to see a Roar on Effing Mad. Immediately, Axes are going to drop. Sunstrike comes in, though. It does catch multiples. It looks like Effing Mad will go down before he can Black Hole. But he's going to walk up. He is going to channel for just a second. We see Echo Slam catching 2 there as they go down. Tinker firing massive amounts of rockets. Scandal's going to be able to survive. NS is going to get away as well, but they trade 2 for 1. It's not a bad trade for mTw. I mean, an Enigma for a Lich and a Beastmaster is okay. Meanwhile, in middle, we see Kuroki doing a decent amount of farming. Sasuke goes ahead and TP's in just trying to slow him down. But again, Cindery and friends continue to pushing that top. I think this is a good choice, actually. They're just trying to convert as much towers as they can with their... They have a bit of an advantage right now as far as actual heroes go, because, again, Void is nothing right now. Void actually doesn't do anything. He's basically just an ultimate, and even then he's not doing that. So they might as well try and get towers while they can, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the case. Very good play by NS and his squad. Actually identifying Enigma is going to be the most dangerous threat. I don't think they really came ahead in that engagement, but they killed Enigma, which in my opinion is the most important pushing hero on the Radiant squad. Here comes Tinker coming in. NS trying to backstab. He's got to be very careful. The most squishy hero on the map, trying to do some heroic. Blow your brain, still haven't used the Chain Frost. Tower got destroyed on the top lane here. And NS might be going down. Wow, Sunstrike barely dodged. They still want her at this point. Those healing whips, though, pretty insane in terms of early game healing. They want to get the mid game tower, or excuse me, the tier 2 tower on the mid lane as well. And KuroKy gotta jump. He's gotta jump. He's trying to jump to the right side, taking so much damage. Can we get the chainsaw? No, we can't. Now Roshan getting a little bit of action, bashing him up as well. And are they really gonna make it go on him? He's taking that much damage. The magic wand being popped. Shackle shot not gonna latch. And that little bit of shenanigan did waste mTw precious, 10-15 seconds on the tower, and that gave Virtus.pro enough time to rotate here. But 7-7 in the favor, well, not in the favor of anything right now, but the gold chart heavily in the favor of Radiant, as they're leading by 5,000 gold at this point.
Yeah, Tinker's actually just about to be level 13. He's getting a little bit of farm time on the bottom here. We're going to see actually probably an initiation in the middle here. They go after effing Matt. We're going to see a Void ultimate catching two. Doesn't catch Funzy. Lives with a nice ult of those. Going to bounce all over the place. Effing Matt's going to go down after Funzy. Yep, he will go. They did take down NS. It looks like the Scandal's going to continue to pulse over up. He is going to get lasered down, though. Kabot trying to come around here for maybe a bit of a backstab. Tinker did TP up there as well. Is it picking off 3 for 1 there? Is actually Enigma managed to survive, or did he buy back?
No, he bought back. And right now that shows how aggressive mTw want to be. You're absolutely right. They want to end this game quick. There is, again, Leshrac and Void on the other side. You might be saying that was a great initiation. There was a Chronosphere on 2. Winner wasn't trapped, but she was trapped between the Chronosphere and tree, so she could only right-click. The Chain Frost was bouncing around. How did mTw actually win that fight? And that's off all the tower gold they pushed down. The item advantage, simply a little bit too much. Enigma was able to mech and survive for a long time before he went down. Kebab, Arcane Boots, these items are a lot earlier than what 20 Minute has for, and mTw Funzy has a 4-staff done already. And they're just roaming as a 6-man pack all over the map. Tier 2 on the bot lane is their last tower. Tinker, by the way, does have that 4-staff finish, as well as an ultimate orb. Shaska haven't died yet, and because of that, he has so many items. And
he's fat. He's
so fat. Right now, 20 minutes in, that's insane. 20 minutes in is usually I mean, if you're not farming that well, if you're getting ganked, that's when you finish your BOT. But he's so much, have so many items beyond that. Again, all these tower is just really stacking up. And it's suddenly, it doesn't matter if you have a level 10 Invoker, if your rest of the team has so many items to add on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 2.7 away from his Hex. And he's already got the BOTs, the 4-staff, and the Soul Ring, and we're at 20 minutes. It's pretty impressive. Tinker gets a kill on Leshrac there as he just lasers him down. He does get killed as well. Ines gets stunned here, but we're going to see a Cold Snap. I believe Ines is going to die. Yep, he is going to go down, and I believe that will turn into, wow, a buyback from Tinker, and he's probably going to TP right by. Man, they are being so aggressive. I really like this play from mTw. They've identified the flaw with Virtus.pro's plan, which is Void doesn't do anything unless he gets items, so just kill their base before he can do anything.
I mean, if you think about it, early game buyback only costs like, what, 400 gold? But it gives you so much more pressure on the tower, as we see the board trying to deny tower. A little bit heroic, not going to do too much. And I think this is Roshan time for mTw.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Void just now has his Battle Fury, so he's going to continue to he's going into full-on farm mode. So his farm is going to increase at a pretty quick rate now because of that Battle Fury. Actually, we're going to see a potential initiation on Shaska. Yep, he's going to leap after him. 4-staff means he is not going to get away, though, but a haste run on KuroKy. Well, we see the laser being used to create a mist. Oh, he drops an ultimate. I thought he was going to TP out there, but he did not. And Sasuke's going to go down here.
No, he's going to go on the low ground. He did rearm for it. Now we have to jump to low ground. KKY going for it. Soaring for the laser mana. Unfortunately, Soaring does put him down to 1 HP as well. KuroKy got that kill. Very expensive kill in the fact that he wasted a lot of farm time as well as a Chronosphere. But killing Sasuke after a buyback, and remember he already died before. So that is going to shut down any kind of Hex attempt. They needed that to slow down the farm. And also because there's no more outer tower for the Radiant to push. I feel the Radiant want to settle into a farming for about 2-3 minutes to get up their key items. Cinnamon, by the way, holding to that 2,900 gold after a bracer. No 4-staff, no drums. Not too sure what he wants at this point. What do you think he should actually get?
Well, if their plan is to actually push the tower,
they just got ultimate orb, and he still has 3k. So I think that answers your question.
I think he's gonna get hexed, right? Yeah. I mean, what I was gonna say is if their plan is to actually push the tower before KuroKy can get fat, if they want to do that in the next 5 minutes, then he needs to just go for a Hex. Hex is one of the most impactful items you can get when it's completed, and it allows you to immediately try and end the game. which I think is exactly what he's going for here. So a well chosen by Cinder as he continues to make good decisions just left and right. Ines, meanwhile, goes ahead and goes for the Invis. Now we're going to see the Forge Spirit Tinker combo as he's able to TP to anything he wants, and he goes ahead and cancels that, actually. He's going to go ahead and TP up top instead. Wants to just try and slow down Kuroki as much as he can.
Did it get canceled? I wonder how mechanically how it would work if you're teleporting onto a creep and Enchantress dominated. Because she did dominate a Forge Spirit that Tinker was trying to teleport to. So I don't know.
I think it does cancel.
It's not your creep, right? But you already started the channel, so I've never actually seen that actually work out. So.
Well, I mean, he just converted and instantly canceled. So I think we have our answer, right?
Okay.
I don't think he canceled that. I'm pretty sure it got canceled.
All right, sounds good.
So anyway, Santa does have himself a Hooded Defiance. So it's a Vit booster, and it looks like he's going to go for a Hedra. So yeah, he's going to make himself a Mechanism. Oh no, he's going to make a Pipe. My apologies. So Pipe is just about done. Scandal does have that Bloodstone, but just the boots doesn't have a whole lot of tank just yet. Though he's going to be getting there relatively soon. Ines got some treads on Enchantress. Interesting choice. We got a Mechas completed on Lich, and of course, as we mentioned with Kuroki, just has a Battle Fury. Up to 2k gold now. What do you think his next purchase move? Mask of Madness to try and get as much done in his ultimate as possible?
Mask of Madness is a good way to increase his DPS, but he's also fairly squishy at this point here. Maybe perhaps saving for that BKB that we talked about earlier. I mean, mTw, we talked about how they're lacking in terms of level because they're pushing S5. But again, the item and the fact that they have an Exort Invoker, their DPS output is fairly impressive, despite the low level. So I think
speaking of items, Synderen actually now has his Hex completed.
Yep.
So the question for me is, how long do they wait, and what item are they waiting for before they finally decide to go for? We have a Blink Dagger on Earthshaker, so he's got himself pretty well set. There's a Force Staff as well as Arcanes, and a Basilius on the Windrunner, so there's a decent amount of Arcanes. Obviously, Invoker has some as well. Effing Mad's got a Mecha, Soul Ring, and a Vit Booster, along with a Hooded Defiance and Treads, as he's very fat. I mean, how long do they wait before they just go for it? Are they going to go for it now? It looks like they're going to gather bottom, potentially.
Yeah, perhaps they're waiting for a pickoff as well. Although a pickoff doesn't matter too much at this point in the game. I mean, we're 25 minutes in the game. The items might not suggest it, but we're only 25 minutes in the game. And if you pick off someone right now, I mean, by the time you reach your racks and start hitting the racks itself, they're probably revived. So you can't really go for a pickoff into a push. Like, it's just not going to be that effective. So I think they gotta just go for it. But with that said, it's kind of dangerous to go up a high ground against a Lich and a Void. You never know if you're going to get, 2 or 3 man Chrono and then Chain Frost up. Not a good prospect if you want to storm up the hill, but mTw is going to go for it.
Yeah, they do have the Forge Spirits, which they can use to get some vision so they know what's up. Effing Mad just go ahead and place a ward there as well, so they have vision against the fire. A massive amount of rockets from Tinker, just trying to basically eliminate as much HP as possible, so if a team fight does happen, they'll have a bit of an advantage there. Kabop wants to hang back. He really wants to hit a nice Echo Slam. A big Echo Slam here, or a big Black Hole could easily in this game. So they want to be careful about that. Just a little bit of harasser from the, or not harass. Virtus are nuking the best they can to slow down any and all of these summons.
Yeah, Effing Man is actually walking up the hill as Enigma. This is kind of a strategical choice. You never see Enigma do this. He's staying back, and normally he should be staying back and, basically don't get hit, don't get initiated, don't get stunned. But I think the reason he's doing that is because there is a Shaker smoked up. He bought a smoke just for himself. And of course, with this Blink Dagger, he wants Effing Man to be initiated on, so he could get a 3 or 4 man Echo. Because Effing Man is so tanky at this point, he has a Hood, a Vit Booster, and a Mecha. You could stun him, but it takes so much focus power to bring him down. And anytime that you're focusing on a single hero, you will start to clump up. And of course, if you don't kill Effing Man, he will Black Hole, and then the Chrono will, the Echo Slam will come in. But it seems like mTw has gave up the push. That was kind of 1 or 2 minutes of concentrated push time that Kuroki was getting some free farm. So if Virtus Pro could hold for at least 2 to 3 more minutes, I think Virtus Pro is looking fairly strong. Kuroki already has a go, just 1 creep cam away from that BKB if he wants that. Or he's going to be going for something else. In any case, Kuroki's going to have a big item coming their way.
Yeah, I think what they're waiting for is actually Tinker's Hexes. He's at 2.8k right now, so he's just about 700 gold away from having it. So I fully expect, while they were pushing bottom, he TP'd top to take down a lane, then he TP'd middle to take down another wave. So I think that's the plan, is to wait it out for Tinker's Hex.
Is that the correct choice?
I'm not 100% sure that it is, but it seems to be what they're trying to do. Funzy has got himself an ultimate orb for her Hex as well, so we're just going to see max Hexes on the mTw side. I mean, I guess one of the best ways to keep a Void down is make him a permanent chicken, right?
But he has that BKB, or I hope he's going for the BKB, and item has been delivered. It is a Black King bar. Great item choice. We talked about the ways to deal with the Void, the fissures, the shackle shots, the lasers, and now with 2 hexes soon to be. So he has to get the magical immunity. Now, getting such an early BKB like this will also shut down his late game a little bit, because once we're approaching the 40-minute of the game, your BKB is going to be down to 5 seconds, and it's not going to be that effective. But don't worry about that point in the game right now. You got to worry about it now. It's Virtus.pro on the verge of defeat. It might not seem like it, but if Virtus.pro have one bad fight, they're getting wrecked.
Yeah, definitely. There's as you mentioned, there's just so many towers and so much concentrated gold on mTw that their heroes, despite being a little under level, and again, Synderen just now level 12. Despite being under level, they have some serious tier 4 items already.
Yep.
I mean, we're looking at a second hex almost, and again, Windrunner just about 2.5, 2.7k from another hex, and that would be the third one. Scandal, meanwhile, coming around here, got 3.1k. Is he saving for potentially a Reaver? Does he want to make a BKB? Probably a BKB, right?
Or perhaps a buyback. In this situation, it's not the worst choice.
Uh-oh, Santa gets caught on the bottom here. He's going to get Malefice. It looks like he is going to be able to get away there. If they had taken down Santa, that would have been pretty big. As his Hawk for vision and, of course, his axes to anti-push, as well as the roar on a hero like Enigma is so important here. We're going to see a stun on Ines taking a bunch of damage. Again, just spamming rockets, trying to keep him down as much as possible. And they're just sieging, doing a bunch of damage on this tower. No Eidolons, or no, rather, Forge Spirits just harassing as much as possible. No Eidolons, though.
Yeah, Eidolon's just timed out, but look at Kuroki on the top lane. He's starting to become that Morphling, slowly pressuring Wave. Difficult to gank him because he has backtrack and a leap, basically. And that's going to force Tinker to slow down their push coming their way. Kuroki will back off anytime. He's up to 1,200 gold. Just like 600 or 700 more gold, he will have to buy back as well. And suddenly looking at a BKB buyback on Chronosphere, on the Void, excuse me, that's a very dangerous and difficult thing to push against. So right now, I think mTw is slowly losing ground. They do have the double hexes, but I'm not sure whether that's actually enough.
Yeah, and this is definitely a siege right now. They're just doing as much damage as they can to that tower every time. You're seeing Funzy run out there and get little hits left and right. Anywhere where they can tuck in one attack on that tower, they're trying to. They want to get that thing down. They want to get in there, get those wrecks. We're seeing a pipe crack here. They're going to go for it. They are going to go ahead and use the glyph or the dire side, and it looks like, yep, mTw is going to go ahead and back off. Just another 100 damage on that tower.
Yeah, this is not the first time that mTw has done something like this. mTw many times in the past have tried a slow siege, but teams just have figured out how to deal with this slow siege, and mTw have actually lost more times than they've won when they do this kind of slow siege. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but it's actually not looking that good. As up the hill, Virtus.pro looking very good. There's a roar on effing Matt. I think that's what mTw wants. Here comes a blink in here. No echo. Effing Matt, no, he went down. That's exactly not what they didn't want. Two-man Chronosphere. Synderen goes down. Shasuka goes down. BKB pop on Kuroki makes him invulnerable at this time here. Kabab trying to run. Funzy trying to run at this point. Virtus.pro has held their Raxes, and they're now getting so many more kills. Conveniently, they're going to be right up to at the Roche Pit right after all of this is done. That means they're going to get themselves an Aegis Wall. Sure, all the Tier 1 and Tier 2 towers are up on mTw at this point, but does that matter?
Yeah, big time battle there. We talked about how Virtus.pro had the capacity to just lose the game if they lost one battle, but on the back of that pretty big team fight, now they have a pretty commanding little hold in this game, as Void has finished his Mask of Madness. Obviously, he got that mask and immediately went into that battle. He's up to 6.4k now. I thought they were going to go for Roshan, but they have not chosen to do so just yet. Interesting. They wanted to try and catch the Tinker there. Void's going to continue to farm it up. Maybe they want to bait. Is it possible they want to bait Roshan?
I don't know. I don't think that was the correct choice. I mean, Tinker bought back, so killing him was very enticing as I guess a bait. But getting Roshan on Kuroki just makes this game unwinnable, it feels like, almost for mTw. And, I mean, going back to our decision about 5-6 minutes ago, when we said Synderen finished his Hex, what is the Radiant waiting for? At that point, Kuroki just had to go. Just had to go for a BKB. No Mask of Madness, no buyback or anything like that. So, I think that was the time they should have started that slow siege. And now, one team fight down, mTw might be going down one game in the international qualifier match. I mean, this is big stakes, and mTw now not looking as advantageous as they looked before. We're still sitting at about 8,000 gold lead, which a lot of time is insurmountable, but right now, as a Void and Leshrac, by the way, went for BKB, which is a great choice still. I think they're looking really good versus Pro here.
The problem mTw has right now is Invoker 13, Windrunner 13, Enigma 15, Earthshaker 10, Tinker up to 17, but that Void is at 18 right now. A full 5 levels ahead of Invoker. That's not something you can really have as an Invoker. I mean, Kuroki is just farming like a madman right now. He's basically only TP'd when they absolutely needed him, and every time he's done that, he's dropped an ultimate, and they got a couple kills. So his play has been pretty impeccable here, and he's managed to get in every team fight that he needed to be in while still farming nonstop.
Well, let's try it one more time, mTw says, storming up the hill. Again, last time Effing Man got initiated on. Haven't used his black hole yet. Here comes a teleportation. Effing Man gets word once again. He gets a force that back. Force a TB from Kuroki here. Is he going to drop the black hole? That's the question. Black hole on 2. We need a damage output, but the Chronosphere was on 3. Echo blinking in from Kebab. That's not going to be enough. 2 BKB usage. Kebab's going to gun down. And the Chain Frost slowly moving in. Cinderin goes down. Funzy goes down. It repeats again. Virtus Pro on the verge of victory. Shoska. Okay, I don't want to call out a dodge, but he actually dodged a stun. As we see, Shoska will be going down as well. No buyback this time. And now they're going to go into the Roach Pit, claiming themselves in Aegis. I don't see in any way that Virtus Pro will be coming, or excuse me, Virtus Pro will be losing this game. mTw is basically dead. Only 6 kill deficit, but the goal is slowly going down. Aegis now ends up on Kuroki. I don't think he even needs it. Perhaps you give it to Scandal at this point in the game.
Well, he did buy back. They actually, the only kill that that the rating got there was actually on Kuroki. They did manage to pick him off, but you will gladly trade 1,000 gold buyout, which is how much it costs, in exchange for the entire team.
And the Roshan, and the Aegis.
Yeah, and the Roshan, yep. And now they're going to drop that Aegis on Kuroki, because again, because he did die, I think it's correct to put it on there. You don't want to have your Void get picked off, and then all of a sudden you just lose a Rax because he's not alive. They're going to get that middle tier 1. We've watched this game. Tinker has really made a concerted effort to try and keep Kuroki off of those tier 2 towers, try and keep him off that gold, that slight advantage that we have. We see a roar on Effing Matter. He's going to get another BKB dropped by Kuroki. He's going to go down very quickly. In fact, we have a Blade Mail? Who has the Blade Mail? Well, Santa has a Blade Mail.
Yeah, Santa has a Blade Mail, which is, I mean, he's the one that's initiating team fight every time, walking into the roar like that. Kuroki dropped his BKB for that as well. Fairly expensive BKB usage just for 1 kill. Are they going to try to pick off Kuroki? He has the Aegis, so he's not the best choice to initiate upon. You want the Lich, you want the Beastmaster, but they're fairly tanky as well. We're starting to see that the Dire Squad pick up their important items for team fights and survivability. And now the situation reversed. It seems like Darius is the one that's holding a slow siege. Now you might be having the advantage in the game, but pushing against a Tinker, a Shaker, and a Windrunner is still one of the hardest things to do in the game. But they get a one-man Chrono Scan against Cinderin. There's a Hex Up on Kuroki. Can you bring down Kuroki throughout that? No, he gets megged up. Chain Frost bouncing left and right. Kuroki gets hexed up. He is going to go down. That's 1 kill. But can they get the second kill? Enigma has revived, is going to be reviving, and Cinder has already went down. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough. Shaker has went down as well. And the push continues for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, it's going to be a tier 2 tower for VP right now, and mTw are pretty well up against it now. I mean, yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to necessarily get right up into the racks, but they're going to get this tier 2. Kuroki at some point is going to get fat enough to where he can actually just run in, ulti, and just kill everything. Now they do get a nice hex on Santa. They may be able to take him down as he's getting Malefister. We're going to see a roar on Effing Mad yet again. Poor Enigma, the target of every single roar. A BKB being dropped by Kuroki. He wants Enigma. Oh, he's not going to actually get him, and it looks like it's going to be a wasted BKB charges. It's now down to 60 seconds. Oh, we're going to see a nice shackle shot, though. Catches Kuroki. They managed to pick him off. His buyback's on cooldown, but I don't think they actually have any kind of pressure to... The lanes are just too far pushed for him to really do anything. In fact, that bottom tier 2 tower is getting pressured by Leshrac at the same time.
And this is a sign how far mTw is behind. If you have a hero like a Cinder, or excuse me, if you have a hero like a Furion, and if you have a hero like Tinker, your creep equilibrium should always be over across the river and across even the tier 2 tower. But it's not, and that's because the Tinker has been dying or forced to defend the mid lane. And right now, even with Void being dead for what 75 seconds. They can't even do anything. They just have to push out the creep wave, and that will be enough time for Void to come back and you know, do whatever. But at this point, they actually removed the Aegis. They killed Void and prevent him to get more items. I feel like if mTw wins yet another fight, they could even win this game.
Well, they can definitely still get in the base. Yeah. I mean, all it takes is one good team fight. They have enough big ultimates that it can happen. But VP's doing a very nice job of constantly initiating on that Enigma and taking him down. We've literally seen no black holes. We saw the one black hole on the top, on the siege on bottom where he caught 2 heroes. The Echo Slam that followed it up did literally no damage. It hit 2 heroes and a third hero who had a BKB on, so it didn't really accomplish a whole lot. We actually did the gold tab right now. It was up to a 10k advantage for Radiant, but it has since plummeted down to a 3k advantage for the Dire. So pretty full-on farm fest here from VP, and that's kind of the problem when you push towers very aggressively, is it's not really. I hesitate to call it fool's gold, but it's gold that the other team is going to be able to get back when they kill your towers.
Yep.
So you have to. They did a nice job with Tinker trying to defend all those towers to prevent that gold advantage from being swung back. But ultimately, it has now started to happen, and there's no more outer towers for mTw to pick off. Well, there's still 2 left that Desire can get to even increase their gold more so. But we're going to see a 5-man, looks like, just charge up here. There are 3 heroes on that top lane right now. We're going to see some TPs back here. Pipe being used. The tower is going to go down to those Eidolons. They're going to go for the Raxes here. Can VP defend this?
Well, they are going to try. Kuroki teleporting back. I hope he will be teleporting back very soon. That minefield of Marcher Machine is just warding everybody away. Kuroki's just sitting in the mid lane. He's like, you know what? My team's got this. So far, it's looking pretty good. Kuroki jumps up to farm the Ancients. He's like, no. Yeah, my team's totally got this one. And it looks like Beastmaster's walking in like he owns the place. He's got to be very careful. There's a lot of hexes on the enemy side. He eats a cold snap. He's going to back off a little bit. Kuroki still waltzing around the river. He finds himself a haste rune. Is this time to go? No. He's going to push top. Wow, the composure from Virtus Pro. The Rax is exposed. They're like, you know what? We'll bait them up to the high ground.
Yeah, I expect after he kills this group wave to TP up there, but he has been very patient with his TPs, and just about every time he's done it, he's been spot on. Looks like maybe he wants to try and get this tier 2 tower. They realize, you know, mTw can't yet walk up the hill. If they actually drop that pipe and run up there, then I'm fully expecting him to TP back, but until then, he's going to continue pressuring up top and continue farming, and this is really... Composure is the only word for it. This is fantastic decision making.
Yeah, a lot of teams would have went back here. As we see, Santa might be in a little bit of trouble. This is time to go. Black hole. Are we gonna have it? No, we're not. 2-man chrono. Shaska's gonna get brought down, and that's the 1-man chrono. Excuse me. They lost 1. Wow. Tinker, does he have a buyback? No, he doesn't. And that's the push. Kebab has to back off. Everyone chasing Kebab. Kebab gotta blink out. He does. But now the push is slowed down. Tinker is dead, so they gotta just manually pour back and defend top and mid. So that was a very unfortunate kill, and the composure has paid off for Virtus Pro as they only lost the base Rax, or excuse me, the base tower, and the Rax stands healthy.
And you can kind of see just by that battle the real problem mTw has. Kuroki only has to hit a chrono on 1 hero. If they kill that 1 hero, they can't push. When you only have to chrono 1 hero, it's pretty easy to hit a chrono. So that's kind of the problem mTw has. They just don't have enough powerful heroes to really make anything happen. They have to almost just man up and go balls deep and hope to be able to get those Raxes, and it's not working right now.
Effing Man had a choice to actually get a 2 or 3-man chrono. It would have got early canceled by a chrono, or excuse me, a black hole. Sorry, it would have got canceled by a chrono that would come afterwards. But I don't think he's gonna get any black hole. He only used 1 black hole this game, right?
No, he's casted a couple times. One of them got channeled for about a half of a second.
On the top lane, that's the only one I saw.
And then the bottom one he channeled that caught 2 heroes in the battle that Kuroki died in.
Oh, right. Yeah,
he caught
like
2 there.
I don't think he's gonna have any, because the positioning is so good on VP. I don't think he's gonna have any chances to get off a 5-man black hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he has no BKB coming anytime soon.
Or Blink, so
yeah, there's not even. He can't position himself very strongly, and he doesn't have any way to walk in there and create a nice opportunity. He's very reliant upon Virtus Pro making a mistake to hit a black hole, which they're not doing. I mean, Virtus Pro is playing very well right now. There's no positioning errors. They're being very patient. Kuroki's not just TPing in at the first sign of danger. They're just executing very calmly here. Now, meanwhile, we have initiation on Funzy here, taking Santa with a Hex, but he immediately takes 1,000,000 damage from Leshrac as Leshrac is 2 tank. We see Effing Mad catching a black hole on 2 this time. Kebab leaks him, does hit a necklace on 2 of them, but a Little becomes around here. We have a pipe being dropped, a bunch of damage bouncing around. Kuroki goes ahead and drops an ultimate on 2 heroes here. Effing Mad goes down, Syndrome goes down, Tinker goes down. Yeah, I think that's just about game. 4 heroes for 1? For none. Wow.
I think someone bought back. They initiated on someone.
Santa, and Santa's alive.
Okay, never mind.
They didn't get him.
Santa, by the way, has a Blade Mail pipe and Vid Booster and going for a heart. Yeah, he's tank as heck as well. Still wanting to get that regen from his Crango boots. 42 minutes in the game because he can. Bows. Yeah. At this point, I think Virtus Pro has got the game in the bag. That's the situation where you just box track your army and A move to the enemy base. Some start
1A,
2A, yep.
3A, yeah. And in fact, we got a Demon Edge as well as another 3.8k on Kuroki, so he can make pretty much whatever he wants. Kebab tries to go for it. Well, he does, distract Kuroki a little while from the task at hand, but Kuroki's going to go figure out, I'll just go ahead and clear this now. And the middle tier 3 goes down, the Raxes are going down, and I think mTw goes down here in game 1 as Virtus Pro looks like they're going to take this, the first of this best of 3 for the West qualifiers for an invite to the International.
Yep.
Number 2.
So where do you think mTw went wrong? They definitely had a good window opportunity to win the entire game, or do you think the game was unwinnable throughout all of it?
Well, they made a decision. They could have either tried to farm it up and get Cinder kind of fat and have Tinker get kind of fat and try and go that route, or they can be very aggressive about going for towers. They went for the very aggressive route. As you see, a big battle going on here. Another initiation from Kuroki. Just goes ahead and A-clicks everybody, as he is easily the most powerful thing on this map. They decided to go for the more aggressive push to go into the Raxes and try and get the base before Kuroki got fat enough. The problem is, I don't think they were quite aggressive enough. We talked about once he got that Hex, they waited a couple extra minutes. I don't think they needed to, and I think that was really the problem. Well, they went for the early push, but they didn't quite do it.
Now, unfortunately, mTw does not have the go check on Kuroki like we do, so can't really fault them on that as well. We were saying, oh man, Kuroki, 3,900 go, he's going to get the BKB, he's going to get the Mask of Madness. Unfortunately, mTw does not have that kind of info, so we can't really fault them on that. But overall, the push came a little bit too late, and Virtus Pro was able to hold. Also, off the good play of Virtus Pro. Again, we saw that on the last push. Kuroki, again, the composure, like you pointed out, was the only word for it. Just whatever. We know the push is coming. We know we could defend it, so we'll keep farming. Eventually, the farm really caught up with mTw. And game 1 now goes to Virtus Pro. Game 2 and 3, hopefully coming your way very, very soon. So don't go anywhere, guys.